Hello English 101I students, welcome to week 7 of our course. Hard to believe, but we're just about at the midterm of the semester. It seems kind of crazy to me that we've made it this far this quickly already, but here we are. So it's a good thing considering the different feeling of this semester this year. I feel proud that we've made it this far pretty smoothly. Well, we can begin by looking at our course information like we usually do and go ahead and look at the course calendar. I think that's always a good place to start each week. And as we get that uploaded and get it ready to view, we'll scroll all the way down to week 7. Okay, so as you'll see with week 7, we have 3 assignments that we're going to be working on this week. One is the final version of your narrative essay, and then assignments 5.1 and 5.2 in the Module 5 folder. Okay, so we'll go ahead and head back to our Blackboard page, and I'll actually go into my classroom first, and then we'll go to Welcome. And we'll go to the announcement that you're about to receive. So I think this is a good way to kind of keep all the descriptions of everything in one place. Okay, so you'll see the 3 assignments that are due by next Sunday, October 4th by 11:59 p.m. The first one is the final version of your narrative essay. So during this past week, you should have seen my feedback. By tonight, 11:59 p.m., your peer review partner or group members should have posted your comments for you to view. So you're going to get a second set of feedback comments to look at for your narrative essay. And the other place that you can check out would be the Lander Writing Center. If you haven't had the chance to take advantage of the Writing Center yet, I strongly recommend going ahead and paying a visit to them. You can do in-person visits if you feel comfortable doing that. I know they have some online options as well. In the syllabus, you'll find about halfway down the document there is some information about making appointments at the Writing Center. They have an online system where you can set those appointments up. But since they offer both options, the in-person and the online option, I would strongly encourage you to take advantage of one or both of those. The great thing about the Writing Center is that the tutors who look at your writing are students like you, and many of them are English majors, or maybe they're majoring in an area similar to English, like history or another kind of major that requires them to do a lot of writing. So they are comfortable with seeing lots of students writing and giving them good advice. Many of our tutors have also worked with international students in the past. So they should be pretty well prepared to help you out. So definitely take advantage of that service. Also, don't forget about the virtual office hours that you can visit. I had a couple of students come this week. I think the sessions went well, they were productive, and I'm here to help you. So don't forget about Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week. And those times would be, once again, Monday and Wednesday from 2:15 to 4:15, or Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. If none of those times works for you, just get in touch with me and we can try to set up a different time. Okay, so don't forget to look at your peer review feedback in your group area after everybody has posted their comments, and then you'll have this great collection of feedback for helping you revise and make the best possible essay that you would submit by next Sunday. So to show you where that link is, we'll go back to my classroom for just a second here. And we'll go back into Module 4, and all the way at the bottom of Module 4, you will find the link to submit the final version of your narrative essay. So that's the last thing that you will do in Module 4 before we move on to the next module. So this will wrap up basically the narrative essay, your first essay, major essay of the course, and we'll be moving on to the next essay assignment. Okay, so back to our announcement. Okay, so the other 2 assignments you see there are assignments 5.1 and 5.2. So one of them is narrative essay editing. So for this week's grammar focus, what I really believe when it comes to grammar and editing is that you've already spent years of your life learning about grammar topics. I'm sure you've studied English for many years in most cases. Or you may have even attended a school where you used English most of the time. It depends on which country you're coming from. Everybody's background might be a little bit different. But you've probably all studied a lot of English grammar. And I really think that when you study grammar outside of a context, outside of your own writing, it has limited value to you. But if you study grammar within the context of your own writing, it suddenly takes on much more value because it's related to you and your needs. So that being said, let's go into my classroom once again. And we're going to look in Module 5 at Assignment 5.1. So we're moving into the personal argumentative essay. That's our next essay assignment. Okay, and as you can see, we have our due dates for 5.1 and 5.2 right here. So this week's grammar focus is narrative essay editing. So as it tells you here, the grammar focus this week will be tailored to the individual needs of each student. We'll use the number list from the grammar diagnostic quiz to identify your error patterns and work on them before you submit the final version of your narrative essay. So you will recall when you open this up that this is an assignment you did in week 1 where you kind of determined what you knew and didn't know about certain grammar topics and tried to make corrections. And this is the list of numbers that I used to put editing comments into your essays. Okay, so your task is to go back to your narrative essay draft in progress and do the following. So 1, you'll do a quick analysis of the numbers I marked in yellow comments in your essay draft. I really want you to notice patterns. That's one of the goals of using this grammar diagnostic quiz. So for example, I gave you a couple of examples here. Did I mark a lot of the number 11 for comma splices or run-on sentences? Or maybe you see a lot of the number 1 for verb tenses, or maybe, everyone's different. Maybe you noticed a lot of number 5s or a lot of number 15s or any of the numbers that are in that list. Everybody's going to have a different set of numbers because everybody has different areas that they need to work on. We're all individuals, right? So I would like you to identify a minimum of 2 patterns that you think you should work on in your narrative essay draft before submitting the final version on October 4th. Okay, so the first part is just looking through your essay and determining what you think you need to work on. Number 2, once you've identified your patterns, correct all errors you can find in those 2 pattern areas. So for example, if you identified number 1 as one of your patterns, correct all the verb tense errors in your essay. And along with your correction, explain your reasoning behind the correction. So here's an example, we'll just open this up, of a student who did this before. Okay, so I've given you a little bit of instructions here to look at the top. So in this example, the student identified number 5 articles and number 11 comma splices run-on sentences. This is just this student. It doesn't mean you have to find those particular numbers. You're going to find the 2 that apply to you. Okay, and see how he inserted corrections using the track changes feature in Microsoft Word. Okay, I'm going to display all of our comments here. And if you're not sure how to activate or use track changes, it's super easy. I've given you a quick video to look at. It's about a 1-minute video, but I'll also show you right here. When you're in the Review tab, just click on the drop-down menu of track changes, and to activate it, you just click here. And to deactivate it, you just do the opposite. So you can toggle back and forth between the 2 options. When you have track changes enabled, any change that you make in the document is visible. What you had before will remain, but your change will appear. So if I activate track changes and I just change this to people, for example, it leaves group there, but shows my change people. Okay, of course I don't want to keep that because that wouldn't make any sense, but you get the idea. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, and so you'll notice for these number 5s and number 11s, this is what the student decided to focus on as her pattern areas. I know you'll have other numbers marked in your essay, but just choose the ones that correspond to the two numbers that you're going to look at, and then you can type in your explanations in those comment boxes. So, for example, the students had, what is an esports? An would not belong before esports because esports is a collective general group of sports. I don't need to put an article before that. So the student gave that explanation here. So for each of the corrections you make, I really want you to think about why you would make that correction. Don't worry about getting this right or wrong. That's really not what's important. What's important to me is that you're thinking about it and you're trying to come up with a logical reason for it. It could just be that it sounds good to you, which is, it's good to have that instinct, but I want you to think about it. Like, why does that article not belong there? Or why does that comma not belong there? So like I said, even if your answer is incorrect for some reason, that's okay. I will give you feedback to help you understand it better. So don't worry about making a mistake or getting something wrong. That's not really the goal of what we're doing here. The other great thing about this is that it's really going to make you pinpoint or focus on areas that you need to correct as you revise your essay. So this assignment goes hand in hand with the final version of your essay. So yes, you are revising your essay for next Sunday, but this assignment is helping you to do that. So even though it may seem like, oh, I have 3 assignments this week, this one is really part of revising your narrative essay. So you can almost think of it as 2 assignments, which is a good thing, right? Okay, let's go back to our folder. So once you've, another thing I'll have to mention here is number 3. If for some reason you do not find 2 pattern areas in your essay, that's okay. Everybody has different strengths and different areas to work on. Completely fine. You can just focus on one. If you only notice one area that you need to work on, just do that. If you don't find any pattern areas, in other words, if I marked no or very few numbers in your essay, in that case, I want you to focus on your strengths. So choose 2 editing strengths. Those could be word choices, effective sentence structure, organization of ideas. In your draft, point out 3 to 4 examples of those strengths and explain why you think you did them well. So that way, everybody has something to comment on in their writing, whether they have areas to improve or they're doing things really well. Okay, so if you have any questions about your individual essay or you're not sure how to proceed with this, just let me know. We'll figure it out together. And then all you have to do is click on the assignment link up here and just upload your revised 2 pattern areas or 3 to 4 strengths. Okay. And then assignment 5.2 is really where we're going to move on to the next essay assignment. This is going to prepare you for that next essay assignment. And it's called Writing Academic Summaries. So here we're moving from less formal writing to somewhat more formal writing. The next essay is called the Personal Argumentative Essay. So it still will have a personal component to it. It's not going to be like a formal research paper or something, but we're moving in that direction little by little. So the first thing you'll do is watch the video on how to write a summary. I think this series of videos gives us a really good, I think the speaker in these videos gives a very nice, clear, easy to understand explanation of different areas of academic writing. And then once you've watched that video and you've learned the basics on writing an academic summary, then I'm going to ask you to choose one of the articles that you see here. They're all about sports topics, different aspects of sports topics, controversial issues in sports topics. So I'll ask you to download one of those stories and you're going to write a summary of the article that you have chosen. If for some reason one of those articles really does not appeal to you, you can propose a different one. Feel free to send me an email and say, hey, I found this one. Can I write about this article instead? But I think there are some good ones to choose from here. And then once you've learned about summaries and you've chosen an article and you've read it, then you'll go ahead and download this document, Steps to a Great Summary. And we'll take a look at that. Okay, And so the first part here is that you'll take some general notes under each question to gather information for your summary, like what's the topic of the article, what is the author saying about the topic. That will give you some main ideas to work with. What are some of the explanations, examples, or proof that support that main idea, and what is the author's conclusion. So that's kind of like brainstorming in a way, like you did for your narrative essay. And this is just an exercise. This is not your actual personal argumentative essay. It's just preparing you to write some summary material from that essay. Okay, number 2 is your summary first sentence. So below are examples that you can follow to write the first sentence of your summary. So you would just replace the article title, the author, and their credentials, and signal verb. The signal verb is a verb that shows you're about to bring in ideas from an outside source, from another person's writing. So in the article, Writing Essays is the Best, McLaughlin-Rojas, English professor at Lander University, claims or discusses or states, you could choose one of those. So you would just replace the article title in quotes with your own article title, the one that you chose. My name with the author's name of your article. If the article shares their credentials, you could include that there. If it doesn't, don't worry about that part. And then choose a signal verb. Or you could change things around a little bit. You could say, according to Lander University English professor McLaughlin-Rojas in her article, Writing Essays is the Best. So you can choose a couple of different word orders for the first sentence of your summary. Okay, then after that, you'll look for some main ideas. So continue the summary by adding the main points or the main events ideas that support the sentence above. So be sure the main ideas are in your own words and do not include your personal opinions. So an academic summary is just stating the main ideas as the author stated them in his or her article. You're not adding any opinions yet. That will come later when you write your personal argumentative essay. But at this point, you're just summarizing what the author said. And you can consider using some transition words to link your main ideas, like first, next, finally, before, etc. And then the final sentence would be wrapping everything up. After you've written your first sentence, you have maybe 5 to 6 sentences of summary in the middle, main ideas in the middle, and then your final sentence. So you could use the model sentences there as ways to conclude your summary. So in number 5, you'll just type your own summary in the space below. It should be about 7 to 10 sentences. And you'll actually use this when you begin drafting your personal argumentative essay. So keep in mind that the article of the 5 I provided there, the one that you choose should likely be the one that you use for your personal argumentative essay because you're already doing some work for it right here in this assignment. Okay, so hopefully this all makes sense. If you have questions about this, if you're just kind of stuck on something or you're not sure what exactly I was explaining to you through all of this, please feel free to email me, stop by office hours. I will be glad to walk you through it. So that's everything for this week. You've got your narrative essay, the editing assignment with the narrative essay, and then learning how to write a summary, which is going to prepare you as we move towards the next essay assignment. Okay, so good luck with everything, and let me know if you need anything during this week. Have a great week.